My name is Kang Seon, and I am here today to talk about the Black Lives Matter movement. When you take a look at major American newspapers like the New York Times, you'll be able to see many articles addressing racial problems. The number of protests that demand the equal treatment of people regardless of race and less police brutality exploded back in May after George Floyd, a 46-year-old black man, was killed by a police officer in Minneapolis, Minnesota. The police were called on him for allegedly using a counterfeit $20 bill. Though George Floyd did not try to resist arrest, the police officer, Derek Chauvin, kneeled on his neck, blocking his airway for 8 minutes and 46 seconds, during which George Floyd repeatedly said, "I can't breathe." The video of the killing spread across social media in an instant, sparking outrage among millions of people across the world. The Black Lives Matter movement was put into the spotlight once again, and protests started to take place not only in the US, but also across the globe, including cities like London, Berlin, Sydney, and Binish. People tore down statues of racist historical figures and marched together. The police response was violent, using tear gas and pepper spray to control the protesters. This made many people angry and also made them demand less police violence, but I'll talk about that a little later. Before that, let's start off by talking about the Black Lives Matter movement. This movement has been all over social media recently. The Black Lives Matter movement was started in 2013 with the hashtag Black Lives Matter on social media by 3 radical black organizers in response to the shooting of a black 17-year-old Trayvon Martin in 2012. Trayvon Martin was killed by George Zimmerman, who was on neighborhood watch in the neighborhood that Trayvon's relatives lived. This caused a lot of outrage and eventually became the reason for the Black Lives Matter movement. Afterwards, the movement gained public attention many times, including in 2014 when 18-year-old Michael Brown was killed by a white police officer for allegedly stealing a pack of cigarillos from a shop, and in 2015 when Samuel DuBose was killed for missing a front license plate and having a suspended driver's license. All of these deaths, and many more combined, made many individuals furious about police brutality. So, to move on to talking about police brutality, one of the key factors that led to George Floyd's death, we can first see that there's a problem by the graph shown here. This is data from mapping police violence, and the blue X's indicate violent crime rates, while the red boxes indicate police killing rates, and the large difference between the two in many states shows that the killing rates do not match up with the severity of the crimes. Another problem that could be noticed was the lack of officers actually being punished for a killing. In fact, through the years of 2013 to 2019, 99% of police officers that actually had killed someone were not charged with a crime at all. This is not all. Statistics show that white officers tended to use a gun more than black officers, and the rate increased as the percentage of black individuals increased in a neighborhood. Even worse, not only are black people most likely to be killed by police, they were 3 times more likely to be killed when compared to white people, even though they were 1.3 times more likely to be unarmed than white individuals. I believe that to solve the problem of police brutality, states need to ban chokeholds and strangleholds, which was the cause of the death of George Floyd, while also making intervention by other officers mandatory when excessive force is used to handle a situation. Also, I believe that violence should always be the last resort when dealing with situations like these. Thank you. I believe that to solve the problem of police brutality, states need to ban chokeholds and strangleholds, which was the cause of the death of George Floyd, while also making intervention by other officers mandatory when excessive force is used to handle a situation. Also, I believe that violence should always be the last resort when dealing with situations like these. Thank you.